All right, so take it away, EJ.
I mean, I'm not the host of this bad boy.
We're all the hosts.
It's this man named Snazzy G.
Nope.
The host?
Wrong show. Ballin.
Communist. I'm a communist, and I dictate that everyone. It's our show. It's our host.
No,
you don't know the meme, the communist meme. It's the Bugs Bunny meme where he was like our. Oh, yeah. So this is like kind of like
our girlfriend.
Our show.
That's my thing, though. I'm the communist here.
We're all the hosts here. That was a cringy ass joke. Continue.
Yeah, we're gonna cut all that out.
Yeah.
So we all saw the Mario movie.
Yeah.
We did.
So, okay, let's go a quick little non-spoiler section of telling the peeps if they haven't watched it yet. It's impossible if you haven't because it's already made a gazillion dollars in the box office.
Obviously.
But if you haven't seen this, is the non-spoiler part. We got our live reactions on Instagram there. But what do we think about this movie?
Overall, I don't think it's a terrible movie. If you're a family person, if you're a family man, family woman, and you got kids, and you yourself kind of used to be a gamer, I don't think it's a bad movie to take the kids to. You'll probably enjoy yourself with a few laughs here and there, right? As long as you're not thinking too hard about it, right? And you start thinking too hard about the story, you might hurt yourself.
For reals, yeah.
Am I sensing like shade here?
But other than that, like I think it's enjoyable story. I think it's not enjoyable story. I mean, not necessarily an enjoyable story. I think it's an entertaining world, right? When it comes to Mario and the substance they give to it, I think it's got a few laughs. I think it's very nostalgic when it comes to the soundtrack. I mean, overall. Yeah, take your kids. Other than that,
it's a fun movie.
It's a movie. It's a fun movie, but it's something. It's a movie.
Is it a must watch?
Is it a must watch? If we're gonna break it down to that, no.
You're not missing out on much. If you haven't played Mario ever in your life, you're not missing out.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a must watch.
If you played Mario before in your life, go watch.
Yeah.
You'll like.
I would say it is a must watch.
Really?
Because, I mean, even though, it wasn't like the best movie in the world, it's still like a pretty great iteration of Mario. And it's still a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah,
it's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. It gets you some laughs.
But do you think people that never played Mario, like, would they be able to appreciate it?
I feel like they do a good enough way of, maybe bridging that gap of people who haven't.
Well, here's the thing. I think people who haven't seen Mario will enjoy it more than people who have seen Mario, because people who have played Mario are going to look for some substance, because we've been asking for how does this make sense for years, and you don't really get those questions answered.
Yeah, they really skim over that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Bellin, any last non-spoiler points?
I'm just going to say what I said about the Assassin's Creed movie back in 2016. You are going to have more fun playing the game than you are watching the movie. If you want to enjoy something with this, I guess, IP, just play the game. Just play the game. There's no point for this movie to exist at all. And that's all I really have to say without spoilers and without context. Like, if you want to go to the movies to see this movie, it's completely pointless for you to do so. Just play the game or play some Mario Kart. You'll have more fun.
Yeah, if I had to contest going to watch Mario movie with the fam versus a night of Mario Party with the fam, just do Mario Party. Really. This movie
is just like, I feel like Wreck-It Ralph did a way better version of taking sort of a video game genre and generating it into a very heartwarming story, very fleshed out story with a lot of depth. This movie, it's just blatantly a cash grab. And I think that's the part that irks me about it the most, because I was actually going to say, when you asked me, I was going to say, well, this movie is so stupid. It's like making a movie out of some random arcade game.
Monopoly.
But then I remembered, oh, Wreck-It Ralph did that.
Yeah.
They made an entire movie centered around an arcade game, and it worked to perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it actually put effort into it, right? They established a really detailed storyline with characters that made you laugh, that made you cry. This movie is, to me, is just a blatant like cash grab, and that's all I have to say.
Well, let's get into the cash grab here. We talked about in the live right after seeing the movie thoughts that this was a great nostalgia movie, and they did a great part at hitting our feels there with EJ. You mentioned the biggest part, probably the best part about this whole movie was the score.
Yes.
They did a great part of making it sound cinematic.
I agree with that. The score blended well with like the classic video game sounds, and then sort of a hint of originality, original like composition mixed in with like the usual game music.
I love the score. Don't get it twisted, and I love how they really kind of pulled at your heartstrings with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like within that score there was almost like the other songs that they did select that weren't nostalgia were almost carbon copy of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That was my only down, because every other song was like, okay, if this isn't from Mario song, it's from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like Take on Me, like when the monkey was like driving them around the what was it, the
getting into the Donkey Kong world.
Donkey Kong world. I was like, this is so cringe.
Or the ending one with Mr. Blue Sky.
Oh
yeah,
direct,
dude. And that's when it's like, okay, I understand what you're doing. You know, I mean, when it comes to the Guardians of the Galaxy, people are like, it's almost like the character, like the soundtrack was a character within itself. Mm-hmm. And Mario was definitely trying to do that.
Right.
And so they were somewhat successful. But if they hadn't just copied those 3 or 4 songs that were straight out of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it would have been a lot better. There's other songs you could have used there, for sure. But
and they were just inserted at like the most random moments. Like there is no reason why the Take on Me song should have happened during that ride. Like you can have meaningful conversations between the characters during that ride, but you just have to put this like goofy scene of them going like back and forth with a song in the background.
Yeah.
I just felt like that was just so cringy.
Quick tip or quick side point. There's a Twitter video of another, like one of the sound producers who had put a different song in that spot, had released a different song that was supposed to go there, more of an original song that was based on that world. Yeah. I mean, since it's not mastered or anything for the scene, it doesn't sound as good, but the beat itself, it would have been better if it was something more original.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah. I was just thinking like they could have definitely used like the GameCube Mario Kart Double Dash, like DK.
There's just so many better alternatives, and they just decided to go with cheap, like mainstream oldies.
Yeah.
Well, as you're going into it, this is really a cash grab of a movie, but we're talking kind of about production here. We got the score down. I'd say my favorite parts of this movie was also like the animation style. Illumination. You know, they also made Minions, Despicable Me,
Sing,
Pets,
other forgettable movies.
Very big movies, and this one has blown all the other ones out of the water. Box.
I feel like Illumination is at one studio, because I remember when I was in like elementary or middle school, I was like staying up late watching YouTube, and you know all those like short animated movies that you see, and they're like really lame. It's like an animated movie about like a duck crossing the street or something, or like a dude who eats a pill and turns into Superman for a day, and there's like no dialogue, but it's really like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I feel like Illumination Studios just took that concept of like short, cute animated movies and extended them into like full, like hour-length features without much substance added to them. They're like, kids are gonna think it's cute, and that's it.
Yeah.
Parents, take your kids to see this movie. You don't really need to like put any much thought into it.
I think now that's what it's become for Illumination, right? Because the first couple of movies they released,
was it Despicable Me? Like
Despicable Me, yeah.
it was good, but like I feel like
really good.
everything after
they
that.
also worked on Incredibles too, maybe.
Did they?
Maybe.
Isn't
I don't
that
know.
Pixar?
That's Pixar, right?
Is it just Pixar? Then yeah, I might be remembering that wrong.
I think the animated studios that you're talking about is Blue Sky Studios, and they disbanded
Ice
That might be what I'm thinking
Age.
about. Yeah.
because they came up with Ice Age.
Rio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rio,
is Rio part of
yeah.
Illumination Studios or is it
No,
like
it's
Fox?
Blue Sky. It's
Blue Sky. It's Blue Sky.
I feel like that animation was one of the first Rio that
Yeah.
we've seen. I really
Mhm.
like this animation style.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything looked good. One person made a good point. It's like it had one of the greatest one-shot scenes in cinematic history. Whenever Mario and DK were coming back, and they had to like fight through everybody to get like to Peach. That
Yeah.
part like gave me like mini chills. It didn't give me full chills because I didn't want to like admit that it gave me chills.
Okay. Well,
You know.
here's the problem. Here's a problem with that scene from my perspective. It was very expected.
Yeah.
Because every video game movie does that. You're not going to have a Mario movie come out without some weird ass like side scroller scene, just like you didn't when you got a Doom movie. You got that first person scene,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
it was very much expected. And I mean, you know, it gave me chills for a little bit, but it was like, oh, I mean, you can't have a Mario movie without this cool parkour side
Right.
scroll scene.
Yeah, right. But I feel like they did do it like almost to perfection.
Yeah, they did it justice. It made
They
me
did it right.
Same like
It
with
made
the
me good.
beginning, like where Mario and Luigi were like going through. It reminded me of that one Mario game where it's like Mario and Luigi, where you had to like use each other to like get through different parts of the map, where they were going through the city. But like while we're talking about the beginning, what y'all think about like, because you know the voice acting was very scrutinized. Chris Pratt, you know, and we
Chris
only got
Pratt.
that real
already-
authentic voice in that Mario Bros. Plumbing trailer
Yeah,
or commercial that they did.
yeah.
Did you notice that the original guy for Mario, the original voice actor, I just-
Showed up.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
there.
He was there.
Did you see that? He was one of the characters. They asked him, "What do you think about the voice?" They asked the character who does Mario's voice, "What do you think about the voice? Was it too much?" And he was like, "No, it was perfect. Wahoo!" That was the original.
He was
Yes,
paid
that
to
was
say
the
that.
original voice actor, and the fact that they teased that.
Do you know
so
his name?
Early.
No,
No, but I know that they
I saw it in a meme.
they shoehorned that in there so early, dude, that it was hard to give a fuck. Like, I heard his voice and I was like, cool, let's keep it pushing, because it's almost like that.
It's like he was giving his blessing to the voice.
Yeah, and it really didn't make sense. It was almost, and if I may, it's almost as disappointing as when Master Chief took off his helmet in the first episode of Halo, right? Like, it's almost that thing where it's like, that's such a cop-out. That's such a dumb thing to do. Like, I get what you're doing, but it's such a dumb thing to do.
You shouldn't do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean they would say like, "Oh, let's just get it out of the way," because I know people have been talking shit
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, don't
But-
do that. Like, Luke Ferrigno didn't show up in a Hulk movie until halfway through.
Yeah.
Like, come
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah.
something to wait on.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, despite all the slander, overall, like for production, including like the voice acting, what would y'all give it? A check or an X?
I'd give it an X.
Voice acting, I think, really saves it because I wasn't let down. I was really expecting just Chris Pratt to do his normal voice, like King Kong. Oh, what was his guy's name?
Seth
Uh,
Rogen.
Seth Rogen doing Donkey Kong,
He just
yeah.
did his own voice, and I
Yeah.
thought that's always gonna be for everybody.
I feel like Seth Rogen has more experience with voice acting though, and it really shined through because he voiced Mantis in Kung Fu Panda, and he voiced the blob monster in Monsters vs. Aliens.
He also did really goofy with Sausage Party. Like, even though it's
Oh, yeah.
even though it's a goofy movie, like
Yeah.
he still lent his voice to really good voice acting in it.
Yeah, he has.
yeah.
I think he's a really good voice actor.
Yeah.
He did say though he
Yeah.
doesn't like to do like original voices, like changes.
Yeah, no, he
pitch.
just uses his own
uses
voice,
Yeah.
but just like gives it style to different.
exaggerates it
purposes.
a
Yeah.
little bit.
The same with Jack Black, of course. He
Jack Black
really kind of stole the show.
Yeah, Jack Black's always.
I
been a
didn't really
character.
recognize him as
As
Bowser.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only when he
Yeah.
was singing, I could imagine him singing as he was singing that,
I mean, you mean
which
that-
hit
He just-
top
He
10 by the way.
completely transformed into Bowser.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It hit top 10.
Yeah.
Like if there's anyone there who I feel like who killed their voice
Oh,
acting role, Jack
for
Black
sure.
is top
For
top
sure.
tier.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Jack Black, and then Charlie Day did pretty good at Luigi.
Yeah,
I barely heard him
Um,
speak.
yeah,
Right.
because they had the great point of splitting the characters. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And Michael Key, he did pretty good as Toad.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
He was really good. But
Didn't sound
That's
like
one of the
him,
voices.
though.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
did not
didn't-
recognize him as Toad.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things.
Can go out there.
I
without
just
your
feel like
bouquet.
I feel like Jack Black was no disrespect to the other actors, but I feel like he gave it his all. He was really good, and I feel like the other voice acting is just pretty average.
I said it before and I'll say
So-
it again. I don't think Chris Pratt's voice mattered at Mario because it was so generic.
Yes, amen to
Mhm.
that.
It was so generic that you could have put anyone else there and I think it would have been fine.
Yep.
So with Chris Pratt, and I mean, even though the score being good, would you still give it an X for production?
For production,
Heck, even I could have voiced Mario, and it would have been fine.
yeah.
Oh no,
Now,
the
for production, I'll give it a
princess.
check. For production, I'll give it a check.
Okay.
I'll give it a check too. It wasn't that
I'll give it an
Production, I'll
X.
give it a
Suck it,
check.
Bellin. This is getting 3 out of 4 checks.
Oh
Yeah.
well, woe is me.
We're on pace
I'm gonna be
for
the
this
only
being
voice
a
of
good
reason in this room.
Because production, I mean, if you're going to put score in the production, that
I
was
think the
only
animation
part.
style
Cared.
was pretty average. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but I am glad that they chose the right studio to do this movie. I feel like it was a good choice.
Right, they
satisfying.
chose one of the laziest studios, are right?
Yeah, I mean, given there was no real context.
Speaking of laziness and no context, let's go on to writing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm.
This one's different.
Okay.
Brainless, directionless. I feel like the writing came in last behind everything. I feel like it went like this. Hey, we should make a Mario Bros movie because the kids like it. Cool. Who are we going to have in the movie? Let's have Chris Pratt, or should I say Chris Rat as Mario because he's super popular. Let's have Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi. Oh, great idea. And so what is this movie going to look like? I haven't really thought about that. That's cool. You can have 2 weeks to come up with a plot and dialogue. All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean,
kinda how it
just
went.
make it like all the other Mario games.
That's a Mario game movie.
Let's not put any effort into
Yeah.
it. Let's just
Yeah.
write out the most generic, basic,
I wonder how much
simplistic dialogue.
it hurts as an artist or a writer of a narrative or a story to get to a point where you, as a writer, write a question that you have to completely avoid. I can't think too hard about this question. I've written this question down for a character to ask, but as a narrative, I can't spend the time to actually figure out how this makes sense. So I have to come up with some bullshit in order to keep the story moving along in order to make these people happy.
Yeah, it's why does Bowser want to marry Peach?
Yeah, they're two different species.
Yeah.
How
Don't
does
think
that
about it
work?
too hard. You just have to produce
And
something
you just have to
that
make
can
some
be
shit.
remotely resemble the plot of a movie, and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is based on a video game.
So was Wreck-It Ralph, but you don't see them lacking
No, but
in the
that's
writing
not
department.
That's not
Yeah,
an
Wreck-It Ralph was an
original
original idea, though.
idea,
Right.
and
So-
this is based on something that's been around.
But
since
I'm not comparing it on the
years.
basis of whether it's an original idea or not. What I'm saying is I don't care if it's an original idea or not. You can still put in the effort to make it good.
You could,
But
yeah,
they
but
would
you
argue that
can't take
we're
any
within these
liberties.
guidelines of
Oh my God.
how
Here.
a Mario game
No,
is.
no, fuck that. Here, I will put this the best right now. As far as a narrative, a creative idea, or an original idea goes, if you wanna talk about the Mario Brothers, creatively, expansively, writing wise, the old Mario movie did it better because you had to make up a whole new world and you had to film in real life and had all this shit make sense right? And it took
Amen.
a lot more creative liberties as far as like, these plumbers are like in a post-apocalyptic world, and that's why Koopas are here, and blah 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 blah, and that made more writing sense than what you gave me.
It was ultimately more entertaining.
Yes,
But people hated that movie. People hated that movie so much.
well, because
People actually had standards back then.
Yeah, if you compared it to the source material, it was nothing like the source material.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like if you did it as an original idea, this is not a bad original idea. It's just not a good Mario's movie. You know what I mean?
Because it's not based on the source material. So I guess it comes down to, you want to base it on the source material, or you want to have a good movie. Or
That's
an
not. You can't.
movie.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
Exactly. You don't
No,
need to
I
ask.
didn't mean good movie. I meant original movie. So you want an original
We're not
movie,
talking about
or-
originality here.
You
We're
see-
talking about working with what you have, which are the characters, the locations, the settings, and everything, and making a worthwhile, excellent story out of it. I don't want to hear it's because the original, if you create something original, like it's going to be better. Like you can have it both ways. You can be based on the original source material and still have a good movie. But you know what what keeps it from being a good movie? The fact that this is just corporate slush. It's just a cash grab, a lazy cash grab. And they're not even trying because they just know it's going to make a ton of money because audiences are going to show up and they're going to see it. They don't even care if it's good or anything. That's why they don't try. So I guess partially I don't blame them. I just don't.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If this movie was up against the old standards of like old childhood movies of like Shrek, it would bomb. It would fail. It would flop, and it would be swept.
People
under
would
the
be
rug like
tearing it
nothing
a
ever
new
happened.
one.
But the fact that it comes out now, where everything has been sort of dumbed down,
People
it's
like
Exactly.
no reason. It's not its fault that it's making so much money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned like animation in the old days feels like those classic movies like from Pixar. Almost every one of the Pixar movies was amazing. And we kind of like touched on this in the Instagram Live about like, can you even really compare animated movies to real movies? Should they be elected for awards?
So there's an interesting quote of Brad Bird. He worked on Ratatouille, I think, and The Incredibles 1 and 2. And basically he was angry because he says people think of animation only doing things where people are dancing around and doing a lot of histrionics, but animation is not a genre. And people keep saying the animation genre. It's not a genre. A Western is a genre. Animation is an art form. It's a medium, and it can do any genre. It can do a detective film, a cowboy film, a horror film, an R-rated film, or a kid's fairy tale, but it doesn't do one thing. And next time I hear, what's it like working in the animation genre, I'm going to punch that person.
Yeah, because to me, like, it's so weird that people kind of have this idea of like, oh, you watch animation and you're watching cartoons, right?
You're watching,
but
little
I can tell you right now, like, you can hit me with some bullshit, like, I watch Game of Thrones and blah blah blah. It's like, yo, I can hit you with an animation or a cartoon of some sort that is on the level of that narrative, right? Like, you're gonna bring up Game of Thrones, I can hit you with Code Geass, an anime, and it goes crazy with like the detail of a story, and the amount of like scaling and all this drama that happens and blah blah blah. But people are like, you watching an animation, you don't know shit about story.
Yeah, I mean, today we were talking about Attack on Titan. That show is depressing.
Attack on Titan does such does an amazing job with these dark stories, and people are like, no, I'm not gonna watch it because it's for kids. That show is not for kids, dude.
No.
Like, I watched Castlevania, and
Castlevania is so good.
And it just contained a lot. I didn't finish it because it was just too much for me. Like, in terms, like, I'm not trashing on anime. I think anime is its own thing and people can like it, but it's not for me. But yeah, it contains the most adult content if they can go with it. Think about it like this way. It's a medium because, like, when we're talking about art, let's dumb it down to like painting and sculpture and drawing with crayons. Right? So I guess like people look at movies, it's like, oh, if it's like a live action movie, it's like a painting, like an oil painting.
Classic.
But if it's an animated movie, it's like a crayons on a
white
little
piece of
sheet.
paper. Yeah.
Like, both can be excellent pieces of work.
Yeah.
Like, the medium that it's done on shouldn't be of any importance. The point here is to tell a story.
Yeah, it depends on what they're trying to tell and how much work they put into
people have
displaying that.
Exactly. People have a certain bias and they take crayons less seriously as an art medium.
Yeah.
Because it's like targeted towards little kids or whatever. But no, you can make some very, very fantastic art with crayons.
True.
Yep. People who believe that idea that I can't do anything with crayons is the same people who said Cowboy Bebop is a cartoon and made a live action that flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's basically what I think about animation, and it kind of blends into this like school of thought that animated movies need to be made dumb to appeal to kids. Like, I hate movies that treat their audiences like they're stupid. I don't like why do you need to do that? Like, it's just, it's kind of like, no offense to Dora the Explorer, but it's kind of like when Dora's like, can you help me find where the map is? And the map is like right behind her. And you're a little kid and you're like, there, the map is right behind you. Oh my God, the map is right behind me. Thank you so much. And it's like, I get it. Like, you have a target audience of like 3-year-olds. I get it. But with movies, like, why do you have to disrespect your audience and assume it's like stupid? Right? Like, why do you have to make such a simplistic sort of plot with effortless dialogue? And by effortless, I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean that like you didn't put any effort into coming up with good lines. Or unoriginal, like, unfunny sort of lines. And I don't like movies like that. Like, you have great movies. I think Pixar, for example, has given us great movies that have a lot of heart, a lot of soul. Yeah. And just because it's a company that is made for kids, that doesn't mean that they don't take adult subject matter into it. Yeah. And I'm not saying like have Bowser deal with like existential crisis or anything like that, but God, like why are you treating the audience like they're dumb? Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's try to wrap up writing. I mean, with some of the themes that they were trying to present.
Surprise me with that.
I mean, one of them was like Mario not having the validation from his father and his family. No one believed in him. I guess that was kind of the main theme. Is if you believe in yourself hard enough, you can get the star.
That's part of the writing that wiped me out. Just from goddamn Mario perspective, as a kid, because it's like, this doesn't mean anything. After years of playing Mario, right? Like, there's nothing that ties me to my family back in Brooklyn through all the years that I've played Mario. So why the fuck would I give a fuck about like that sense of acceptance, right? Like, you've never brought these people up before. Mario and Luigi should really be.
They're going about giving depth to these characters in like the most facetious and unnecessary like way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really can't even remember any of the other themes. I mean, they tried to show like brotherly love,
but then you split them up at a certain point, and you don't.
But this is the thing, though. Like, the movie was just so bland that when you mentioned themes in the movie, I was like, surprised me. Like, what themes are you talking about?
I mean, they were there. They were just probably not that strong, but they were definitely there. There wasn't just like
I feel like y'all are pulling themes out of stuff that just happens on screen.
But it did. That's what a theme is. I mean, it's trying to send a message. But a theme is a journey.
A theme is a journey. Like, a theme is not. It's not.
What was okay? Answer me this then. What was journey? What was Mario's hero's journey?
Unity.
That right there. That's a good fucking question.
Unity.
That's a good question.
Remember when he was training? He was training. He couldn't get it right, and then at the end, he did get it right.
In like 30 seconds, in like a minute. Yeah. No, and it wasn't even like a minute because it was a montage. So he got it in like a day because when he started, it was like noon, and then when he ended, it was like night.
And he actually didn't finish it.
Yeah, he didn't. He never finished it. Not until the very end of the movie.
So what's his hero's journey here?
Well, is overcoming insecurities.
Yeah.
That were put upon him by the world.
Remember when Bowser was like, "Come out and fight me. You're scared. You're weak.
You're short."
Yeah, you're short. And then he was like sitting there crying. And then he saw the commercial. And then he was like, "No, I have my brother. I can do this."
But you do realize how cookie cutter and lame this is,
Well,
right?
I mean, yeah, it is a corporate movie, but that it has a theme, it has a theme. It's probably not the best theme, and it's generic, but it has a theme.
Okay, but when it comes to a theme and it comes to the journey of a theme, right? That theme is also based on the depth of how your characters question that theme, right? That's why it's a journey. And whether it be your main character or your side character, there's always someone questioning the journey. And there really was none of that, right? There was no
There was none. It
opposition.
was all very straightforward.
All very straightforward and all very
Yes.
basic and answered very quickly. And even so much so that the threat
Yes.
was gone almost immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so like in a hero's journey, you have when the hero reaches his lowest point and he has to pull himself back up. So in this case, if we look at other animated movies, with Coco, when he realizes that he had been idolizing and chasing after a man that turns out completely, not only didn't turn out to be his great grandfather, but killed his actual great grandfather. He betrayed his family. He placed his trust in this man, idolized him, and then he ends up in like a literal pit. And then his family comes and rescues him, and he sort of elevates himself. Or in Ratatouille, basically, when Remy's been using like this method to basically gain success as a cook, and he's hiding all the time. He's hiding, like, and once he hit his lowest point is when everybody finds out the truth. And then he says to himself, well, I can't hide anymore.
When
I
he's
have
in
to be
that little
true to
cage,
myself.
When he's in the cage in the car of the dude.
And not only
Shit,
is he
dude.
dealing with that, but he's also dealing with reconciliation with his family. So he's trying to escape his family. And then when he's in that cage, like you said, he's like, I can't live without my family. I can't abandon them. And I can't keep living a lie anymore. I have to like be myself. And this doesn't happen in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like in really quick, a quick succession. It takes for like these intimate, elongated, prolonged like moments where you have the score sort of come in, the rain, the gray skies, everything sort of points to this low point. What was Mario's low point? He's stuck inside a fish with Donkey Kong, and they're both talking about their dads, but it doesn't have any sense of poignancy because it's all played off as a joke. And it lasts like 2 minutes, and boom, the fish like spits them out, or I don't even remember what happened afterward. Yeah. But they take all these like hero's journey. Like, yes, I do agree that there's maybe elements of a hero's journey, but they're not taken seriously by the writers or the audience.
They're not taken deeply enough or seriously enough to them have an impact, even as a kid. There's no substance there, right? Like even as a kid, I feel like I don't feel like Mario really went through anything to be a hero, right? And then even if you could come to that conclusion, I don't feel Bowser was enough of a threat to make me feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he didn't really beat the villain.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he defeated him, but like, why?
Still there.
Yeah.
And like this whole thing with the fathers and stuff, again, I'm going to circle back to Ratatouille because I feel like it's a good comparison, because Remy, he has his dad, and his dad is like, we are rats. We do not interact with humans. Why are you walking on 2 legs? Why are you washing your hands? He has this sort of confrontational, and there's even a scene in the movie where he's eating dinner with his dad and his brother, and he has a big fight with his dad, and his brother's like, whoa, you guys are, like it represents an accurate depiction of what a father and son relationship could be like. And this movie is like literally doesn't take it seriously at all.
Yeah, that scene is very like impactful. And
it is.
And the one in the Mario movie, it's more of his dad just being like, nah, you're a loser. And that's it.
Exactly.
And Mario's like, well, I'm sad about that. And then he just goes to his room.
That's what I'm talking about, the movie treating its audience like they're stupid.
Yeah. I think you could have built more of a connection if you would have kept on with that. Because there was an underlying tension that Mario was the favorite as well, right? And while Mario kind of looks up to Mario, and Luigi's kind of like on the back burner, right? And you could have played more into that, right? And that's one thing I was saying at the end of the movie is like, you could have played on the joke of Serious Luigi, right? Or something goofy along that lines, or something dumb that is sort of meme culture about the Mario movie that you could have made an original idea off of, but that never happen. You don't even go down that route of exploring that kind of like relationship. Really, that relationship doesn't even get that much love.
Yeah.
Like I said, they split them up at a certain point.
And let me just disagree with you guys. I think you guys were saying at the beginning, like you were stating that it's just not that deep, bro. It's a movie about video game characters. And I'm going to have to disagree on that. Like seriously disagree on that, because just because it's a movie based around like a concept as silly as video games, that doesn't mean it can't be a good movie. Because movies, I think, all should like attempt to shoot for the moon and be excellent movies, you know. But this is the case where sort of the corporate or corporatized culture of film comes in and says, well, you guys don't have to try and make this a good movie because we just want the money.
Narratives and themes can go on the back burner.
Like this movie, that's all it comes down to. It has a potential to be an excellent movie, even though it's based on a silly concept like a video game, a Japanese video game from like the 80s or 90s. But that's not an excuse to make a mediocre movie.
Yeah. I mean, even we can compare like the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie narratively did a lot better job.
Narratively, yeah. I mean, it lacked in a lot of areas, but it was still,
it was
I
better.
think they tried a bit better. And
Yeah.
the people even listened to the fans, and they said, this is an ugly-ass character design. Please change it, and they did.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, you know, a lot of people were saying, hey, you got to change the Chris Pratt thing. And then they were like, no, just wait and see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, whatever. Writing, what do we think?
X.
Check or X?
Yeah, I give it an X.
Might be unanimous.
I'm going to be an X. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you, like,
Check?
are you keeping
Check?
track of this? I said X.
Oh, I thought you were going to go differently there.
So, X's
No.
across the
I
board?
think we can remember all these X's for these categories.
X's across the board for writing.
Next one, directing.
Directing.
Who's the director of this?
Don't know, don't care. This is awesome.
He got the
X for me.
job done. I'll say that.
Yeah, like don't know, don't care. That's the thing.
Can
Is like,
somebody look
I
up
don't even think I
his
would look into
bibliography?
who directed this movie, because the director of this movie, nothing about this movie mattered other than Chris Pratt, the fact that it's a Mario movie, right? And then like whatever other big names are tied to this movie. The director doesn't matter. Whoever wrote the script doesn't matter. Anyone else on the stage
It would have made a
Doesn't
difference.
Yeah.
right? Like
This was probably one of the easiest directing jobs of all time. This
It was
movie
just
was
a pay. I
already
bet.
done.
I mean, I don't
and then
want
the director
to
came
make
in.
assumptions, but I feel like it was just a paycheck to Aaron and Michael. Those are the
Well,
two directors of this movie.
Their bibliography. What else?
what
they
else?
have?
What else have they done?
They have done Teen Titans Go. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Naruto, but not the cartoon. The movie, the live action.
Which
Naruto
one?
movie.
The live action movie?
Yes, this.
Oh, movie should have been canned from the gut.
So that's the movie
I
that
didn't even know
they've
there was a
done.
live action Naruto,
I did
bro.
not know that.
Oh,
So
but
they mostly did Teen Titans Go, which
And Michael did. He's an animator, and he animated for, again, Teen Titans Go.
if I
Teen Titans
It's like
Never
Go.
it's just
called.
entertainment that doesn't really take much.
Teen Titans Go is not a good. How would I say? Like a super deep type of TV show.
My friend,
so-
she's a big DC fan, and she's like, I hate Teen Titans Go.
there's only one good segment of Teen Titans Go, and that's when, because it's like the same team who worked on the last Teen Titans, they just had to contort to new ways. They used their old animation style and their new animation style when the two separate Teen Titans meet
that's cool.
in a couple of moments. But that's. Other than that, there's no other reason to watch Teen Titans Go, dude. Like, it doesn't get anywhere
No.
near how deep and how emotional the old Teen Titans was. Like, there's a whole Slade arc, and you know, what's her face? Raven goes through some shit, and Starfire goes through some shit. Robin goes through, like, all these characters go through shit in the original, but then you go to Teen Titans Go, it's all goofy. It's all goofy shit. So it doesn't
goofy.
make it makes perfect sense actually why
Mario's the way.
Mario's the way it is, dude.
Yeah.
And look. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. They did their job. They pulled the movie
They did what they were
together.
told
Clocked
to
in,
do.
So-
clocked out.
Yeah.
They got their paycheck, and you can't fault them for that. For
No, I
sure.
can't.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm gonna give him a check.
For directing.
Wow.
yeah, because honestly, I would have done the same thing. They're like, hey, Belen, we're going to pay you about 13 mil, or I don't know how much they get paid, 7 mil to like get this movie out. You want to do it? You want in? Sure. I got a family to feed, or I got bills to pay. Why the hell not?
To do the
So,
most basic job. I mean, I guess, but if you're gonna categorize it as a directing, I don't think it's just because you came in and did your job doesn't mean
If they did it well,
it did it well. Yeah.
it's like
I think they did an average job.
doing the.
They didn't do a
bare-
terrible job. I think that falls into like the lap of the writers.
Yeah. I
More.
mean, the director
Yeah.
definitely did the job he was supposed to.
So I
Because
think
it
they did a
did
decent
great.
job, so I'm just going to give them a check.
I see your point, but I'm still gonna give it an X.
I respect
mean,
that.
Really,
Yeah.
what did he have to direct? Is the main question. Like, did he have to really like get with the actors and be like, no, your voice needs to go up here. Y'all need to have a deeper type of tone. Like, what did he really have?
Yeah, pretty
to,
much that. That's what it
Yeah.
entails when it comes to animated
But
movies.
did they do that?
Yeah,
I
but
feel like
in
Did-
this
yeah.
movie,
wouldn't.
what was the real?
It's like that guy, Ryan Coogler, when they asked him to direct Black Panther. Black Panther, I feel like they already had the whole thing right now. They just wanted his name on there. Because, you know,
Yeah.
Ryan
'Cause it-
Coogler
yeah.
does a bunch of those type of movies.
Yeah.
Black Power type of
Like, if we're going to talk about animated movie directors, we can go back to Brad Bird.
Yeah.
He's a very enthusiastic director when it comes to, like, animated films. Like, in The Incredibles, he does the voice of Edna. So he's, like, really involved in the production.
That's cool.
And I feel like, yeah, he gives it his 110. And I feel like, again, you know, we have directors on Pixar movies or DreamWorks movies, and some of them you can see evidently that they care, and some of them you can tell that it's just a paycheck to them. So in this case, that's what I feel.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You're gonna give it a check, though.
I'm gonna give it a
They
check.
did the
though.
job, clocked in, clocked out. Tony, what do you think?
I feel like just because you did the job, you didn't do it like 100%. So
You didn't give it your all.
yeah, exactly. Could they have done better? I mean, with a reference like Teen Titans Go, probably that's the best you could have done. And I wouldn't say they failed because they did make all that money, but maybe they could have, you know, been a little bit more passionate, leave their mark somehow. Because I bet you if they would have chosen any other directors, the movie would have little to no changes in the end results.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I'll give it an X for bare minimum tries.
Yeah, EJ, what do you think?
It's an X for me.
What about you, Marshall?
As you said.
I mean, I don't even like really see. Sorry, you guys, I don't even see there being a director
Aaron
in
and
this
Michael.
movie.
Yeah, like the director kind of
So this is a real toss-up. Heads or tails?
No, that's an X.
No,
X.
that's a
All right.
weak ass move.
That's an
Yeah,
X.
that's an X, bro.
So, I mean, we kind of condensed some of our original categories here, like cinematography,
into animation.
into animation and production, writing, directing. I mean, that's basically it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
overall, what do we give this? So, I mean, maybe out of all of us, we maybe gave 2 or 3 checks.
I forgot what I gave.
That's what I was asking if you were keeping count.
Yeah.
I know I gave a
Yeah.
check to the production
Yeah.
and X to the writing and X to the directing.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a
production-
2 out of 5.
Production was a check for me, and then everything else was an X.
Same.
So it was a 2 out of 5 or a 1 out of 5?
Bad.
It was just.
Look,
It wasn't a bad movie.
It wasn't a bad
It
movie.
wasn't
it
that's
wasn't
the
a
thing.
bad movie.
I feel like if I had to
But-
describe it, it would just be mediocre.
That's
in
the
one
thing.
word.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to say it was a bad movie, but I will rate it as a mediocre movie and talk negatively about it. Will I still tell you to go see it? Sure.
I feel like
Yeah.
you can compare it to like a little kid learning how to play baseball.
Mm.
Like if he throws a weak throw, but in the end it ends up making it. Like he ended up making it, but it was still a weak throw.
Or just having the tee
Yeah.
and a tee ball. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was being
It's right
held
there.
based off of it's Mario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So-
makes more sense.
I have a question for y'all. Would y'all say you had the money and the time? Would y'all go watch it again tomorrow?
No.
No.
If I was on a lot of drugs,
Really? Probably
Yeah,
make it
like if
fun
I can
that.
get high and probably go watch it, sure, dude, and not have to pay for it.
But like
Yeah.
But-
you wouldn't pay attention to like the plot and
No,
the-
dude.
Yeah,
No,
so it's,
dude.
It's that type of movie,
Yeah,
guys.
I mean,
It's that type of
maybe
movie.
if I was trying to get like freaky with a lady in the back,
Yeah, there you go.
because I didn't
Trying to
have
hook
to pay
up.
attention.
yeah.
Oh, don't do that, guys. Like, if you're gonna go to a movie theater, the employees can see everything from the security cameras. Like, they
to
have
watch.
cameras inside the showroom to make sure that people are not pirating the movie. Like, it's like night vision
Oh.
cameras. So if you're thinking about, making out with a girl or,
Oh.
feeling her up a bit, just know that you're being recorded and they can see everything that's
Okay.
happening.
There's
Hey,
a lot of videos of me out there. There's a lot of
Yeah,
videos.
this is
of
not
me
the
somewhere.
70s or 80s anymore, people. We got cameras in the room to prevent piracy from happening. So
I
yeah,
had sex
remember
3
that the
times
next
during
time you want to hook
Beowulf.
up with somebody in the dark. What?
During Beowulf. I went to go see Beowulf like 3 times only to have sex because no one was in that movie
The
theater.
Angelina Jolie one?
No, I don't. Was
The
it I don't
animated
remember.
She was in that.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in that movie.
You watched it 3 times and
Watched
never
it 3
watched
times.
it
was
at
in
all.
I don't think because like the first time we went there, I was like, "There's no one in here," and of course, me and her messed around. And
Honestly,
like,
you know what? To give you a little bit of hope, theater employees are not paid very well, so I don't think they give a shit if they see you hooking up in there. I think it's just gonna be really entertaining for them to,
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
they're not
do.
gonna.
They
kick
probably
you out.
do it
They're not gonna
themselves.
kick you out unless you're like that lady. Oh my god, I was in middle school and I was at the lunch table with my friends, and my friend, she was like, "Hey, Belle, you know what happened?" And I was like, "What?" This was back when 50 Shades of Grey was a big deal, 2014.
Oh no.
And she was like, "Hey, Belle, you know what happened?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "This lady got like arrested at the movie theater for like masturbating during the 50 Shades of Grey showing."
Oh my
And I'm
God.
just like, God. Like, so as long as you're
Yeah.
not like
doing it to yourself.
raw, doing it to yourself.
As long as you do
You're
it to
not, like,
somebody
raw
else.
As long
dogging
as
it.
you're
Okay,
doing
where
it to
I think
somebody
feel like,
Like,
I
let's
feel
just say this: the movie theater is not a hotel room, okay?
yeah, but I also feel like if you're gonna do it, don't do it in a fully loaded movie theater. Everybody went to go see 50 Shades of Grey, dude.
Yeah. Well, also for this
All the
movie,
wine moms.
don't
Yeah.
jack off a guy to a kids movie. There are probably kids in the room.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
do it in a
dude, when I
Mario
went to
movie.
go see it, I heard a bunch of kids laughing, and I was like, ugh.
Oh god.
So yeah, there are definitely kids in this movie.
Okay.
I will say
Yeah.
there were some pretty funny parts. A couple of them.
And
I'd
what?
say
I laughed,
30%
like,
of the time,
once.
the jokes were okay.
And Mario.
In Mario.
I'm trying to think of one.
Yeah,
That's
me
the thing.
I
too.
can't remember. Okay,
I
the
remember
Star
laughing.
Girl.
I remember. What do you mean? The depressing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
the
the only
depressing
memorable
girl.
thing.
That's
because that
it.
went- that
The
wouldn't get to grain.
depressing bubble
Yeah, the depressing
star
star.
thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because that would have gets the grain of everything else. Everything else is happy-go-lucky.
I
That's the
feel-
only thing.
yeah.
It's like, death is a release.
That part was so
Yeah,
good.
that's the part I laughed in. I was like, I laughed once for sure, and it was
yeah,
that
like,
part.
that's the only memorable
yeah.
thing from that movie, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That and like Bowser singing Peaches.
Oh yeah, Peaches.
That's really it. Like I don't remember anything else.
But now looking back at it, I mean, that was the ultimate cash grab. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
Black's in it. Like,
He
has to
went in
sing.
there, and you know what? I'm gonna give it to the guy because he could have just gone in there. He's like, oh, it's just another paycheck, but he gave his all into it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we gotta love and respect Jack
He even
Black
made a
again
music
and
video,
again and again.
right? He made the music video on the.
Yeah.
He dressed
Yeah.
up like it, played
Like-
the piano,
Yeah.
like he went all
Bowser.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
He went
really
outside. He
carried
did
the
his thing.
marketing.
I think Jack Black is amazing.
Fucking shout out right now to Jack Black and Jim Carrey for carrying
Carrying these video
These
game
Carrying
movies.
these dead ass
Video game.
franchises
Yeah,
that have
man.
like no soul whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah.
But there we go. Go see it. Maybe. Don't expect much. But thank you guys for
Chiming
listening.
in.
And let us know what you thought of the Mario movie. Maybe we were wrong, but we're probably not.
Because we're
Right.
always right. I'm kidding.
Mhm.
Always.
Hey, it didn't win
Um,
all that money, so I mean, it
But
may have
we're
failed
always-
here, but out there, it was really
Like
successful.
we're always looking for people to kind of oppose our views because we crave the drama, and we crave the good old fashioned validation of a fight.
I like
Yep.
arguing. So
Arguing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like arguing.
Yeah. So
Discourse.
if
Yeah.
if you would rate this movie 10 out of 10, come at us. 'Cause
Come at me.
what kind of
I think
evidence do you have?
I just think it's a cash grab, and it was successful.
Maybe we watched a different movie than you.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me just say that although audiences have been disappointing me lately, I still have hope because more people are starting to wake up to the fact that movies are not that great in quality. And I have to thank a lot of commentary film YouTubers for that because they're kind of like exposing people to like the realities of how Hollywood treats films as an art form.
Yeah.
And people are starting to wake up. So even though the audiences have a lot of the blame for this movie being mediocre, I feel like I still have some hope.
I will not give credence again to it until I see an original story do good at the box offices. That's what I want. Because I don't like, I mean, I know, I feel like there's been another story since then, but I feel like the last thing that I really went to go see enjoyed was like Hateful Eight. And that was so long ago. You know what I mean? And I don't remember much since then as far as like, there wasn't a Marvel movie that I went to go see in movie theaters.
I feel
It's not like John Wick. You know what I mean? Yeah. That isn't really, that's like a
dude, 2014 was a pretty good year for movies. You got John Wick 1, you got Captain America Winter Soldier, you got Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good year.
Ever since then, I feel like it's either been Marvel movies or action movies like John Wick, but it hasn't been, like, I don't think I've gone to the movie theater to see something with substance in years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier. I mean, maybe this will bring out a new age of director-led production companies that will actually listen to the writers and give them more of an input and an outlet to make what would be an indie movie a real produced movie that people would see just because, Steven Spielberg gave the okay for this one. Christopher Nolan gave the okay for this one.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what Scorsese will do in his retirement, is like aid and help produce some pretty good movies. But I still feel like there is hope that people are going to start getting tired of all this sludge and really want some substance. And maybe, who knows, maybe kind of like in comedy, maybe like comedy specials will start to be released on Netflix, on YouTube independently. But no matter what, like,
especially now, because I feel like streaming services have monopolized entertainment.
Yeah, and quick note there, the writers, they're still striking.
Still struggling.
They're still struggling. They still, have to pay their bills. So, hit the link so you can donate and cancel your subscription. Yeah. Just try it out. All right.
For a month.
Just try it.
Yeah. Just let it go.
You'll be helping. You'll be making a statement, honestly, because a lot of people are just like, oh, little old me, what am I going to do if this company's doing all this evil stuff? And I'm like, you're their customer. You literally have them in the palm of your hand. You have the power in the palm of your hand.
People don't realize, that's things, like, people don't realize that
you vote with your dollar.
You vote with your pocket wallet. Dude. Like, you vote with your wallet, you can be like, attention. Yo, I don't support you, and then I could definitely make 2 or 3 of my friends, like, not subscribe to you as well.
Yeah.
I could take $100 out your pocket today.
Yeah.
But exactly, but I think the big problem is apathy. I got into an argument with my sister because she was like, I think I was talking with Marshall about it, and she was like, put something good on TV, and I'm just like, I'm not using any streaming services right now because the writers aren't being treated fairly. I'm not going to give these streaming services the time of day. And she's like, oh my God, everything has a negative side to it. Like YouTube, like, because I was watching a YouTube video on TV, and she was like, YouTube literally exploits children. And I'm like, how? Because of family vlogs. And I'm just like, that's a more complicated matter. Yeah. This is a direct matter. Like, if you stop supporting streaming services, they lose customers. They're going to see, oh shit, people actually give a crap about the writers.
Yeah.
This is a more direct, like, cause.
True.
This whole thing with family vlogs and exploitation of children, that's a complex topic because you have the parents involved.
That's monetization.
You got that's a whole other thing. But I just don't like people that are like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Yeah. You can do something about it. Yeah. You vote with your dollar.
That's a weak mindset.
It's such a weak and apathetic mindset. Yeah. And I can't wrap my head around it. If I see something going wrong, no. Like, same thing with fast fashion. I used to shop at Shein a lot, or whatever, however you pronounce it. And then when I realized how cruel and disgusting the fast fashion industry was, I immediately closed my account. I stopped shopping there. I was like, I can't keep like voting with my dollar.
Yeah.
And there was this one girl who straight up told me like, I'm not gonna like be guilt tripped into like to not shop there anymore. Like I'm gonna do what I want. And I'm like,
Meanwhile, I'm the type of dude that's like, I will switch shit up so fast. If I don't like your service, I will leave.
Yeah.
And I
yeah,
will take my subscription with me. I don't give a fuck, Keisha. Like I will gone, dude.
yeah, yeah,
Real quick.
exactly.
So you actually do have a choice, and you can actually choose to fight like with the writers here by canceling your subscription. You know,
Yeah.
I know it's tough. How am I gonna watch The Office? How am I gonna watch Friends? Everything's on Netflix.
Look here. Give
You
yourself,
can
give yourself
take
some space and then let yourself binge after the.
like when was the last
Yeah.
time you logged into Netflix anyway to watch something? Like,
Well, I did yesterday actually.
damn, Marshall.
I've been watching Better Call Saul, so
Damn.
Better Call Saul is too
Damn.
bad. And you know what? Slight movie recommendation that we don't usually do these on. I mean, it's Netflix, but like, it's a Spanish movie called The Hole. Really good.
El Hoyo.
El Hoyo. Yeah. It's
No, I mean,
really
like,
good.
I'm gonna start watching all this stuff again when the writers get their fair pay.
Yeah,
I can live without TV shows and movies for a while. I know I love them to death, but I can live without them for a while if it means that the writers are gonna have enough like money to put food on the table, enough
Honestly,
money to
yeah.
pay the rent, enough money to pay the bills. So I
don't
know
mind- I don't mind
you guys are gonna be
pirating my shit
whining
right
and
now,
be like,
so.
"Oh my god, I don't want to cancel it. It's $15 a month." Baby, those $15 a month can help feed a writer that's
Yeah.
literally not getting paid right now. Those $15 could help put clothes on their children's backs.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a matter of having basic empathy, really.
and plus, you
Yeah.
know, if you're still, you know, so like, well, what's in it for me? It's like, well, doing this like will help movies get better.
Exactly.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna like your movies better.
There you go.
Later.
There you go.
And if you think writing is an easy job, I challenge you to write like
A
a
full
15
script.
just a 15-minute script that makes sense.
Write
Just
a short.
just a short film that makes
Short.
sense. I challenge you. If you think it's easy, just write a short film that makes sense.
You're
that-
gonna
that
want to jump off a building
You're
after
gonna
that.
want to
Yeah.
blow your motherfucking brains out.
You will not finish.
You will not finish, and then by
No.
the time you do it, you'll be like, "Yo, this ain't 15 minutes."
Yeah.
This took me a whole 3 hours.
This is
Yeah,
a
dude.
TikTok.
And it's still shit.
and it's still shit, dude. So yeah,
Support the writers, guys. Entertainment. What's it called? Entertainment Community Fund.
Yeah.
That's where you can support writers and artists directly that are suffering from this corporate like greed that's going on. So yeah, there you go. And I'm gonna sign off now.
EJ, thank you
Yeah.
again for coming on.
Ryzoe in the building,
Thank
baby.
you, EJ.
Hopefully in the future we can have some more like horror movie reviews.
Yes.
with
Dude,
ya.
I'm a
That'd
big
be
horror movie
great.
guy,
Mhm.
dude. And I got a whole list earlier that I found that I'm gonna go.
Hell
try
yeah,
to
that's
do
what I
it,
like
so,
to hear.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
All right.
But stay tuned, you guys. Thank y'all for listening and watching.
Bye.
Love y'all.
See ya.
Keep on milking.
Keep on milking the movies.
I'm milking.
Milk the movies dry.